Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped. The holiday season is here, and if you're not picking up the Performance Package 5.0, how are you going to treat yourself to a grooming and self-care package beyond any possibility? It comes with, first and foremost, the 5.0 Ultra Lawnmower, which again is a grooming powerhouse. It's got skin-safe trimmer blades, skin-safe foil blades, and skin-safe blade heads. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite parts about this is that LED spotlight. You can literally sit in the darkest shower sessions and go off. And of course, if you're ethnically challenged like me, they've got a travel lock feature, so you don't have this thing popping off in the middle of an airplane. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, beyond all of it, you've got the Weed Whacker 2.0, which is an amazing tool to tame those unruly nose and ear hairs. You also got the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion, which is an amazing dermatologist tested formula for sensitive skin. Of course, you've got the Crop Preserver, which is clear drying, quick absorbing, and it's filled with that soothing aloe vera. And of course, you've got two gifts, the Shed Travel Bag 2.0 and the Boxers 2.0. The Boxers 2.0 are unparalleled in their comfort and style. Now, at the end of the day, that is the Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, and it's a complete grooming package that takes care of your shaving, trimming, and post-grooming needs. So when you use our promo code SOG, you get 20% off and free international shipping at checkout. That's 20% off with the promo code SOG at manscaped.com. Treat your jingle balls with pride. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and let's go to the video. Hello, guys and gals, me, Mudahar, and ooh, does GTA 6 deserve to be banned? Ladies and gentlemen, obviously, Grand Theft Auto has pretty much been the limelight, spectacle for the last week, really, when a trailer was finally released, a trailer full of, I guess you assumed it, cars, crime, and a lot of booty shaking. Now, something that I love about the GTA release cycle is the controversy. Anytime Rockstar comes out with a game, there's always a group of people who are like, maybe it should be banned? And I am firmly a believer that if a video game has violence, sex, and basically all mature elements, as long as it's rated M for mature, there should never be a banning of anything artistic, so on and so forth. If you disagree with that, well, ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you that we live in a world where you're free to say whatever you really want, okay? And I honestly think when it comes to art, like video games, movies, music, they should be left pretty much uncensored, okay? But again, some people disagree with that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the last few days, there's been a trending hashtag of ban GTA 6. Now, I want to start off by saying this is a bullshit trend. Anybody that's actually co-opting this trend is just using it to basically meme around, make fun of it, and anybody that's actually halfway serious comes up with some of the most insane shit. Like, for instance, the person that actually popularized this was this sort of political correspondent. I don't know if they're a reporter, Jackson Hinkle. Now, Jackson Hinkle was the one putting out with the alert Israel sign, get hashtag ban GTA 6 trending. Now, this is one of the first casualties of human brain cells that I found. One of the big posts that I ended up spotting was, why are the Zionists at Rockstar Games releasing the sexualized video game for children in America? Get this banned! Now, again, obviously, this is, I would imagine, a troll, but even if you're trolling, I think it's totally fine to make fun of people for trolling poorly, which this is effectively what it is. This is what we call impression farming. Oh shit, the rent is due! Better post cringe! Now, obviously, we all know that Grand Theft Auto typically has an M rating on the box, which implies that it's for 17 and older. Last I checked, when you're above the age of 17, you're not a fucking kid anymore. So obviously, kids are never the target audience for GTA games. That said, on the other hand, it's not as if kids don't play Grand Theft Auto. I remember my first Grand Theft Auto game. I was in elementary school when GTA Vice City was plopped into my PlayStation 2. And let me tell you, I had a great time playing that experience. And honestly, as age has hit me, that experience just continues to get better and better. Now, usually when the gaming media gets a little bit wild about getting a video game banned, sometimes snowflakes like to come on social media platforms and talk about why GTA isn't their cup of tea. Now, snowflake is an interesting term. It's used by a lot of people to make fun of individuals who often are too sensitive. Sensitive pussies like Elon Musk, for instance, who writes, "Yeah, I tried doing it, but I didn't like crime. GTA 5 required shooting police officers in the opening scene. Just couldn't do it." To understand, Grand Theft Auto 5's prologue segment has you shooting through the cops of Ludendorff, okay? Again, I don't understand why you would buy a game franchise called Grand Theft Auto if you weren't going to be comfortable shooting up cops just a little bit. And what's funny about it too is like it's just digital cops. At the end of the day, none of this is real. I've never seen the people who complain about snowflakes like Elon Musk so much completely simp for digital law enforcement. You think if he finds this bad, imagine him freaking out when you can shoot up a metric crap ton of civilians in Modern Warfare 2. Could you imagine? Just imagine for a second. You got literal cops who will tell you some of the best parts about GTA is taking on law enforcement and seeing just how long it takes for you to survive before you eventually die. You know, when you pop that game into your PlayStation, Xbox, fired up on your PC, you kind of come with the expectation that you're going to be stealing cars. And obviously, Grand Theft Auto as a franchise is built around punishing you, the player, for actually committing crimes. Yeah, one thing I have to remind people is GTA is not a game that's all about being rewarded to do crime. If anything, committing crimes in the game ranks up your wanted rating, which the higher you get, the more pissed off the law enforcement system becomes, and the quicker you end up fucking dying or actually getting handcuffs around you. But anything past 1 star means that the LSPD just puts a shot right into your head. Yeah, they're that hardcore. Now, believe it or not, Elon Musk wasn't the biggest snowflake over here. What's actually the biggest snowflake, ladies and gentlemen, is without a doubt Ian Miles Wrong, or I guess as his real name is Ian Miles Cheong. Now, Ian Miles Cheong's history is quite old. I mean, you can look up articles going back to 2012 during his Reddit moderator days. Yes, the Reddit days, so to speak, where Ian was a far different character. I think one great article is this one by Julian Williams on Medium, where one can read through some of Ian's most, I guess you could say, wild arcs. One of them allegedly involving a little bit of the old anti-Semitism, so to speak. Brilliantly nice guy. Now, Ian's current grift revolves around basically sucking off Elon Musk on Twitter, and basically Elon is currently his financial daddy, basically paying him out through the Twitter payment system for basically Ian Miles Cheong retweeting some of the most bizarre misinformation you could ever find. Again, I've ratioed him quite a few times, more than I care about, but to understand, correcting Ian Miles Cheong is such an easy thing to do, even an infant could do it as soon as they come fresh out of the womb. You can imagine Ian basically throwing his hat into the ring and talking about how other games are better than GTA because of their anti-cop gameplay. This man is a Malaysian who is kind of a Westaboo, meaning that he just loves the United States of America. And I personally don't know if Ian has ever touched the God's green earth, the US. I come into it all the time, but I would imagine a game like Grand Theft Auto must be like crack cocaine to him. As Yakuza is to weeaboos who love to explore Tokyo without paying for the flight ticket, GTA is basically Ian's closest vacation to the entire country of the United States. If this man could basically get on his knees and suck the balls of George Washington again or something, he would. So he posts, "I'm glad," in relation to Elon, "I'm glad shooting cops in Cyberpunk 2077 is completely optional. Never finished GTA 5 either." Now, it's kind of hilarious because if you know about the community notes feature, basically Ian Miles Cheong has been writing like around 200 something articles about GTA 5, okay? One of them was without a doubt about its chase mechanics of Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, here Ian talks about how GTA 5 sees major changes to its pursuit mechanics. He got past the introduction, which has you shoot up cops like crazy, borrowing from the wanted notoriety system of Red Dead Redemption. What? You mean the previous game? GTA 4's wanted system? What? Where is 5's system anywhere close to Red Dead system? GTA 5 forces you to engage in a game of hide and seek, effectively penalizing you for running from the police as it spawns more and more cops. Gone also is your ability to escape the cops by running back to your safe house. The easiest and simplest way to lose your wanted rating is to avoid detection by hiding in a single spot where the police, whose detection of the player is now based on line of sight. As mentioned, it becomes like a game of hide and seek. Yeah, dog, it becomes a game of hide and seek from law enforcement. It's stupid articles like this where I question if Ian has actually ever even played a video game, let alone anything from the prior Grand Theft Auto franchise. You know, even if you run back into your safe house with like a 6-star wanted rating, you really can't just get rid of that entire rating anyways, as far as my knowledge goes. You can get rid of 2 stars by changing your clothes, but what does he expect? If you shoot up police and engage with the law enforcement, granted they're going to run after you and they're going to hunt you down until they've lost track of you. That's kind of how law enforcement works. I don't know if Malaysia's different. Maybe Ian has his magical perception of America, but you know, here if you fuck with the 5-0, they'll fuck you 10 times harder, pal. Look, I don't have to explain to Ian that even with this Cyberpunk 2077 point, it's also brain-damagingly dumb, because Cyberpunk 2077 is a video game where you can actually drop a fat nuke in Arasaka Tower and kill how many hundreds of innocent civilians and NCPD officers, proving once again that I don't actually believe Ian actually plays video games. I don't think Ian actually has a spine, to be honest with you, because this man literally will do anything to taste the balls of George Washington or Elon Musk. This man is actually so good at basically being the ball sucker, it's not even funny in this situation. Again, both these individuals were ridiculed on the internet, but again, there was one other person that I couldn't imagine would become a massive snowflake about Grand Theft Auto. That person is Andrew Tate. Listen to this clip.
New GTA 6 is out. Have you ever played any GTA? This is a genuine question. I've never played any of them.
I believe that I played the first one. That's like a top-down, bird's-eye view kind of 2D game without any real graphic violence back when I was maybe 10 or 11 or 12, whenever it came out. I do recall that. But you know what? I want to speak about GTA 6 while you're on the topic, because now we're actually talking about something that's relatively important. Video games aren't necessarily evil. But, you know, I remember when video games, because I'm very old. I'm an old man. I remember you used to play a little man in a red hat trying to rescue a princess and teaming up with your brother. Now, if rescuing purity from evil while teaming up for your brother isn't a good theme of a video game.
Yeah, part of me thinks that the Tate brothers don't really appreciate that GTA is the franchise that pulls no punches and satirizes everyone no matter what side of the spectrum they're on, them included, pretty hardcore. But at the end of the day, it's weird to see these people virtue signal. Not weird, but hilarious in a sense, because they're so focused on this idea of cop killing that they forget that there's a whole bunch of other organizations in GTA, like paramedics, firefighters, everyone. They just focus on these cops and trying to virtue signal themselves as people who are above shooting or engaging with law enforcement officers. It's pretty funny to see somebody as hardened as the Tate brothers actually go up and sim for law enforcement, digital law enforcement, this hard. These people forget that video games that are M-rated are designed to be escapist tools first and foremost, like movies. I love how they pivot to like Mario Brothers as like, this is what gaming was about, as if they didn't release one of the best Mario games this year anyways. Again, these people realize and they know that there's M-rated games that have been around for a long time. People play GTA because, yes, shooting cops in real life has some pretty real repercussions, and you just shouldn't do it. Shooting them in a video game is alright and okay. But again, these people love to clutch pearls at the end of the day, and that's really what I've learned watching these people. They're fighting for a culture war that most people don't really give a shit about. But there are people that are even cringier than these people, and that guy is Tim Pool. Let's listen to this clip.
But here's my thing. When I play GTA, okay, you are running around punching and beating people and shooting people and stealing cars. Yeah. You know, personally, I don't want to play a female character. It's not, I don't know if it really matters, but it's kind of weird in my mind. And, you know, you can tell me that I'm wrong or something. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like, This lady's going to run up to a random guy in the street and punch him, and he's going to go down? Nah, come on. Yo, if your average woman ran up to your average guy and swung a fist at him, it's not going to hurt him. I mean, it may hurt a little bit, but it's not going to, like, put him down. And then, so my point was, like, okay, so you play as this character, you run up and punch a random guy, and then he just clocks you in the face one time, you go down wasted. You lose all your HP instantly, and then you wake up outside the hospital.
One thing I've noticed when it comes to GTA 6 is the moment that a woman character was introduced into the franchise, or at least even since this was leaked during the 4chan stuff, a bunch of people have found it to be almost a sign of it potentially being woke or something nonsensical. It's not as if this is miscasting. Obviously, women in the modern era commit crimes just like guys do. And when it comes to violent crimes, I love how he's talking about going up and beating people in GTA, as if everyone doesn't whip out the minigun from their asshole and start unloading it onto whoever looks at them wrong. Again, I don't know what's up with Tim Pool. This is just the weirdest, like, cope that I've ever heard in this situation. And you know what? Maybe I'll give him credit and say he's probably just making a joke. But that's the thing about jokes. They kind of have to be funny, right? This just comes across as a bit cringy to me, and honestly comes across as a wild take. I don't know why he would even mention this if it wasn't for the fact that GTA 6 now has a female protagonist. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, girls commit crimes, you know, and guess what? A shotgun is a great equalizer of force. You don't need to beat someone in the face when you can blow their head off with a 12 gauge, is all I'm saying. Okay, so now that we've roasted a few people, there are some actual legitimate worries about GTA 6 possibly getting banned. For instance, a few Arab gamers are worried that GTA 6 will contain many 18+ scenes. Yeah, that's true, and maybe banned in Arab countries. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, for some of my actual viewers from Saudi Arabia, you probably won't actually be able to play Grand Theft Auto, and that's actually understood. To actually get down to it, GTA 5, from what I understand, is still actually banned in, like, Saudi Arabia, whether it be because of pornography or, like, immoral, like, depictions of situations. Yeah, that game is still banned. Not that it stops people from in Arab countries from playing it. They just make a PlayStation account from the US or anything outside Arabia and just buy GTA 5 right there and then. Yeah, it might be illegal to own Grand Theft Auto, but I'm pretty sure the law is not properly enforced, and I'm pretty sure the cops of vice and virtue in Saudi Arabia don't necessarily care. But again, it's not something cool that I like to see. I don't really think games should be banned, but then again, for a country as hyper-conservative as Saudi Arabia, it's definitely not shocking that GTA 6 is probably getting a ban. And I'm sure that Rockstar isn't going to block off the strip club or start enforcing hijabs inside the pole position club when the game drops, okay? It's just not how it works. What's also funny in GTA 6's case, because it's a Florida Man simulator, the trailer had a lot of references to real-life Floridian situations. Situations such as the Florida Joker. Now, while this guy showed up for like a half second in the trailer, it didn't stop the real-life counterpart from actually mentioning and demanding money from Rockstar Games. I love Floridians so much. This man stole from the Joker and just does not understand irony right there. But again, do I expect this lawsuit or any legal threat to go through? Yeah, I expect it to go through as well as Lindsay Lohan did when GTA 5 dropped. Honestly, the amount of lawsuits and controversy that builds from this game is something that you could just have an entire series talking about. But we're not here all day, ladies and gentlemen, because we gotta talk about the potential for politicians to jump into the mix. And actually, it's a good time to talk about the history of some of these bans, because this isn't a new phenomenon. I think because of the amount of time that it's taken to pass GTA to release, people have kind of forgotten that in the past, actual politicians, degenerate politicians such as Hillary Clinton, promoted so many laws to actually ban violent video games. For instance, one of these laws was the Family Entertainment Protection Act, also known as FEPA. Now, this is a failed bill that was introduced by Hillary Clinton and sponsored by a bunch of other dumb fucks, where FEPA would have imposed fines of $1,000 or 100 hours of community service for the first-time offense of selling a mature or adults only rated video games. By the way, adults only video games don't even show up in most stores because they're actually classified as pornography, which means Walmart, Best Buy, a lot of your mom and pop shop brick and mortar stores wouldn't even carry them. From what I understand, even digital storefronts like Sony and Microsoft do not even have adults only games allowed on their stores. So again, if you sold any of these games to a minor, you would get fined, what, like $5,000 or 500 hours for following offenses. So again, ladies and gentlemen, obviously it didn't go anywhere, and the major proposals were insane because they had this prohibition on selling mature and adults-only video games. So they basically made them fine a little bit more, and it's not as if you could sell these games to minors anyways. Usually when you were a kid, you just sent your mom and dad to go into the store and they bought Vice City for you. Now, back in my day, there were definitely tellers who told my mom and dad, probably don't want to buy Vice City for your kid. It's got strip clubs. And my dad's like, yo, they got triangle PlayStation titties. Trust me, it ain't going to freak out my kid that hard. And lo and behold, we ended up getting GTA anyways. Point is, video games have ratings, okay? And if you're a parent, you should make sure not to let your kid play an M-rated game, okay? It just shouldn't be like that. But again, for adults like me, I'm all cool with M-rated games. Hell, most of my favorite games are rated M. And as somebody that was young in my day and age, playing Doom, Counter-Strike, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I like to think that I turned out just fine enough, okay? Don't get me wrong, I'm a degenerate, but I ain't that big of a degenerate. But see, you can't spend this kind of a video and not talk about the king god disbarred douchebag Jack Thompson. Now, Jack Thompson, for those of you who are watching this video, you might have two reactions. One of those reactions is, who's Jack? And the other one is somebody literally just woke up, felt the actual gray hairs grow out of their body, and have remembered this individual from literally years ago. Jack Thompson, famously the attorney that once wrote a letter to the executive of Take-Two. Yes, Strauss Zelnick actually got a letter to their mother where, I'm not joking with you, it literally reads as, Dear Miss Zelnick, your son, as you may know, or maybe you don't know, is chairman of Take-Two Interactive Software, where most popular video games are the Grand Theft Auto murder simulator games, banned in some countries, but sold to children here. Your son last week was reported to have said the following about Grand Theft Auto 4. We've already received numerous reviews, and to a 1, they have perfect scores. My mom couldn't write better reviews. Taking your son's thought, I would encourage you either to play this game or have an adroit video gamer play it for you. Some of the latter gamers are on death row, so try to find one out in the civilian population who hasn't killed someone yet. Yeah, this might be one of the most unhinged, crazy nut jobs. If you're writing a letter to somebody's mom who's probably too old to give a shit about this situation, you need serious medical assessment. But again, this man is a legal grifter. Way back in 1999, when there was a Kentucky high school shooting, there was Jack Thompson right there for the parents, who actually filed a lawsuit with the parents against 2 internet porn sites and several computer gaming companies. Games would be listed such as Doom, Quake, Mortal Kombat, movies like The Basketball Diaries. Instead of these parents taking accountability for their fuck-up of a son, Jack Thompson was there to help deflect any form of responsibility and instead put it on video games that are known, at least scientifically now, to not have a direct correlation to these violent actions. Now, while Jack Thompson got disbarred, Jack Thompson was basically one of those individuals when, like, a serious event back in the day would happen. Like, for instance, the Virginia Tech massacre, where an actual shooter, very, very tragic event. What did Jack Thompson do? Well, he decided to go on the news the following day of the tragedy when the bodies were still warm and basically argued that this is probably violent video games.
Probably trained himself on a shooter game, as is Klebold and Harris did, as Michael Carneal in Paducah, Jeffrey Weiss in Red Lake. I could go on for 40 minutes citing these schools so that are like the battlefields of the Civil War. We know them by their names. It turns out, in that interview, Bill, I mentioned the game Counter-Strike.
Yeah, this guy ended up bringing up Counter-Strike into the mix as if suddenly playing a video game was going to make you into a very, very, very dangerous shooter, despite scientific evidence not leading to that claim having any validity whatsoever. Jack Thompson was also the individual that basically had an open crusade against Rockstar Games, quite honestly, up until like a very unhealthy obsession. Jack Thompson would again sue Rockstar years down the road when Grand Theft Auto was brought into the crosshairs once again after a teenager shot 2 police officers in Alabama, mirroring what appeared to be violent acts from that video game right there. And again, these lawsuits, as you can imagine, were so flimsy that obviously they were thrown out. And then, of course, another wrongful death happens, and here is Jack Thompson going after what is claimed to be the creators of GTA Vice City, Rockstar at the time. That was the game in question, where the lawsuit filed in the District Court of Albuquerque argues that the video game made violence pleasurable and attractive. I guess this might as well be saying eating disorders when you play Pac-Man are considered pleasurable and attractive because your high score just keeps going up. Insane reaches, you would say. But again, Jack Thompson was such a bad lawyer that after doing all of these shitty hits, he was effectively kicked out and disbarred from the Florida Bar Association. And at some point, it actually required, at least as far as I understand, back in 2008, March 20th, when like he literally had to get other members of the Florida Bar to sign on any future filings, meaning that they had so much distrust and hatred that you would have to risk your career and public notoriety by co-signing any stupid filing that he made just because he was such a bad lawyer. Again, when it comes to violence in video games and sex in video games, there's always politicians and people who will always try to shift the blame from real problems over to video games or movies or music in general, which again is sort of the encapsulating point of the story. No, there is no banning GTA 6 at the moment, but you can imagine as closer as we get to release and the way that this game is currently looking right now and how realistic it is, you're going to find the scumbags like Jack Thompson rise from the ashes, making fools of themselves, but ultimately bringing this shitty discourse back into light once again. And you know, this is a period when the gaming industry, when the gaming medium was so young and so filled with, I guess you could say, edge at the time, that even with Jack Thompson, who created what is the Modest Video Game Proposal, which is an open letter that he wrote where he would actually donate $10,000. And in this letter, he said if someone was to create, manufacture, distribute, and sell a video game in 2006 that allows players to play the scenario he has written, in which the character kills video game developers, he would donate 10 grand to the charity of former Take-Two Interactive chairman Paul Ebler's choosing. And again, he describes a game in which a protagonist is Osaki Kim, the father of a high school boy beaten to death with a baseball bat by a 14-year-old gamer who played a game about beating people to death with a bat. So again, he comes up with some really, really insane shit. And even his own proposal was already matched up by a game all known as Postal 2, an even raunchier game that has had even more controversy, in my opinion, than just Grand Theft Auto in general. But what did the community do at the time? You had individuals who created mods such as the Defamation of Character, a Jack Thompson murder simulator, a mod for San Andreas, where, again, they literally said an incredibly violent GTA San Andreas made by Take-Two Interactive of New York City left this game hidden for hackers, modders to you and me to unlock. Using third-party community-made software and having to add only 10,000 lines of code, Defamation of Character revealed itself. Jack Thompson finally sets police officers on fires, shotguns them in the face, and runs over innocent pedestrians with cars, all with legal immunity. And of course, they even mentioned all the missions they had to add in, like chasing ambulances, playing chicken, publicity stunts, damn villain, showdown. And of course, yes, this is all just meant to be a joke towards Jack and his shitty legal career. I wanted to read more into why Jack Thompson was actually disbarred, and reading into the court order posted in September 25th of 2008, it actually goes over quite a few reasons. One of them was respondent made false statements of material fact in court and repeatedly violated a court order. The respondent communicated the subject of representation directly with clients of opposing opposing counsel. Respondent engaged in prohibited ex parte communications. Respondent publicized and sent hundreds of pages of vitriolic and disparaging missives, letters, faxes, and press releases to the affected individuals. Respondent targeted an individual who is not involved with respondent in any way, merely due to the position the individual holds in state and national politics. And then respondent falsely, recklessly, and publicly accused a judge as being amenable to the fixing of cases. Then the respondent sent courts inappropriate and offensive sexual materials. Jesus Christ! The respondent falsely and publicly accused various attorneys and their clients of engaging in a conspiracy/enterprise involving the criminal distribution of sexual materials to minors, and attempted to get prosecuting authorities to charge these attorneys and their clients for racketeering and extortion. And you know, there's two more points to this, but it's enough to show you how unhinged this individual was. It wasn't even the fact that he was going up against video games. He was just a general public enemy nuisance to be around, let alone be a colleague if you were in the legal field. Jack Thompson is clinically unfucking hinged, and it's actually a benefit to the legal career, the legal profession, and the state of Florida that this scumbag has been disbarred. But yeah, to go back to it, ladies and gentlemen, obviously violence in video games will continue to be a scapegoat for shitty politicians, unloving parents, and people that just don't understand about real problems in society. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and will GTA 6 get banned? Absolutely not. But you know one thing that's good about controversy like this? It leads to sales. With all of these people's efforts to stop a video game from being sold, ultimately it's going to be their efforts which causes GTA 5 to continue to follow the track of being one of the most profitable game releases ever. And as somebody that's a massive gamer and a GTA fan, I'm just excited to see it all the way to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed laughing at snowflakes, let me know in the comment section below. I am